What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus from New Age Arcades, back with another video. I know it's been a while. I figure I'd do a little Q&A for everybody. And just give an update on some of the upcoming events coming up. I appreciate everybody who supported me over the years. Hopefully, the business will continue to grow, and I still plan on building a lot more machines and running tournaments and hosting events. So we'll see how it all goes from here. What inspired me to start my own arcade? Well, for one, I've always loved going to the arcade. Growing up, I used to love going into any arcade I could find. It's always just had its own energy. It's kind of like you have some people out there who love going to the casino. They like seeing the lights and hearing the noise and the change drop, hearing people excited. Same kind of concept. Going to the arcades is always just a surreal experience. Not only just the atmosphere, but seeing the people being crowded around the machines and just learning new moves or just checking out something new. It was just, I don't know, it was just a cool experience. It had its own little smell and whole vibe and energy about it. And it was also a good place to be social. One thing I've always loved about the arcades, even if you weren't participating or playing a game, you could just go and watch and have fun. Because it was crazy. And it's just seeing people go at it, learning different moves and figuring out certain secrets in the game and just seeing people get all excited about it. There's this whole different atmosphere. I remember, when games like Mortal Kombat and Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom, when a lot of those games came out, people used to be crowded around the games. I mean, people would be waiting for hours, got quarters all stacked up, waiting for their turn. But it was exciting. Back then, the arcades, back in the day anyway, 80s, 90s, games came out in the arcades first. So that's how you got a chance to experience the games. So they would always come to the arcades, release the arcades first, then release on console, like maybe 6 months to a year down the road. But the console version never was up to par with the arcade version. The arcade version always was superior in every aspect: graphics, sound, performance, just overall. It wasn't until later on, I would say late 90s, early 2000s is when the home console started catching up. So going to the arcade was the best way to experience a lot of the games that would come out. Like, for instance, when Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 came out, people were, those were highly anticipated games when they came out on console, but the console version was like, I don't want to say it was trash, but it's definitely inferior compared to the arcade. There was usually moves missing, or the sounds were just like, so generic, and they had that 16-bit sound. You didn't have that full stereo sound, and there was a significant difference with the quality. But yeah, I've always loved the energy of it. Go there, you get to meet different people and learn different styles. Just the whole social aspect of going to the arcades. And then the noise, just the noise itself kind of gave it its own atmosphere and vibe. So I've always wanted to keep that legacy alive. As I got older, I started noticing more that the arcades were starting to die off. And I see places like, go to Tokyo and places in Japan where the arcades are still alive. So it's like, when I see stuff like that, that kind of inspires me to kind of keep it going. So hopefully I can get on that kind of level. As you can see from the video I'm going to show you, arcades are still popping. Like, they have so many setups. There's usually a decent crowd playing, as you can see. All kind of different types of games. I haven't really been nowhere in the U.S. yet, except for a few exceptions that have setups like this, or at least have a consistent crowd. But, seeing this definitely inspires me. And I'm like, I know there's definitely a way to keep the arcade legacy alive. I think it's just really a matter of having the right games and um, having good advertisement, will help bring people together. But yeah, I mean, it could definitely be done. I mean, the atmosphere, the environment, it's what makes these places so amazing. And just, like I said, just the social aspect of it. Um, but the whole point of all of it is really for people to come together and have fun. Those Japanese arcades are crazy. They're still popping, But I think a lot of it has to do with them having the right games out and having games people want to play. So, I'm just trying to keep that going here in America if I can. At least help contribute to it. There's a few places that have started bringing the arcades back. I know like Galloping Ghost is a big place in Chicago. I'm sure there's some places in Texas. As far as the ones here that I go to locally, there's Akihabara in Denver, or Westminster, Colorado. Have the more Japanese style cabinets. So that place is dope. The Arcade One Up Bar in Denver. So there's places even here that started doing it. So I don't know. It just once I kind of decided to dive into it, I figured I might as well make the most out of it. So I'm driven to kind of keep that legacy alive. So I try to have a good mixture of old and new games. So to bring people together because you have different generations of gamers. So that's what inspires me. So bringing people together and giving people that experience. So you have kids now who grew up on the internet era and never played the original games, like the original Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, or Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2. They might have played the newer games that came out, within the last 10 years, 15 years. And even though the mechanics are similar, the games have evolved so much. So I'm just trying to bridge that gap to give people a chance to really see the full 30-year legacy of the fighting games. Because they've changed a lot over the years. So, being able to have a place where people could come play the original games. So, the new kids can see what they come from and then, maybe learn something from that and maybe it'll bring something into the new game. We live in an era of where esports is becoming big. You have kids winning millions of dollars on video games now. So that's really just what's motivating me, is trying to create an atmosphere where you have young, old, everybody in between, players from all over who grew up playing the games or just now starting to play the games. I want to, create a space where people could come and experience the old and new together. But yeah, that's my biggest motivation, bringing people together. So yes, I build my own custom cabinets. Like I said, I started building the machines. I've been building machines for about 10 years now. Um, reason why I started doing it like that is because, well, one, a lot of the games that I liked, they were always super expensive or hard to find. So, and then there was games where they didn't have arcade cabinets for us. So I was like, well, let me kind of research it. I kind of saw the best way to kind of get everything put together. So I started building them myself. So usually, if it's a game I like, when Tekken 7 came out, for instance, I knew I wanted Tekken 7. So I make sure, I always get the artwork together first, make sure everything matches and color coded and things like that. And then I order the parts and then I order the artwork and just get it all put together. But yeah, every machine, all the videos I've done, it's all for me doing, they're all my own machines basically. They're all my own custom built machines, custom artwork. So I always try to do my best to, mix and match a lot of the colors and artwork. So, but yeah, they're all custom made though. Let's see. I've been building arcade machines for about 10 years now. The first machine I built was the one you see behind me, the Mortal Kombat 3, the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 machine. I want to say I built that in 2011. So that was my first project. And then I just kind of went from there. I want to say Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4 was the second one I built. And that was more around 2015. But yeah, it's been about 10 years now. So it's just a hobby that just kind of grew into something more. So hopefully I can continue to build more cabinets. But yeah, I've been building machines for about 10 years now. My ultimate goal with building machines, for one, I obviously want to host tournaments. I have built machines for people too, but the biggest thing is, I would say, just to bring people together. I know with the pandemic and everything, everybody's kind of been forced to be, a recluse and stuck in the house and being antisocial. So hopefully this will help contribute to bringing people back out so they can be social, meet new people. But the main thing is just keeping the arcade legacy alive. A lot of kids grew up not knowing, at least kids nowadays didn't grow up playing in the arcades. A lot of kids grew up playing online and playing with their friends online, which is fine. It's definitely made the world a lot more connected and smaller. But I would say it's still not the same experience as playing in person. It's just the energy, the vibe that playing at an arcade is way different. The internet technology has gotten better, but it's still not not the same as playing next to somebody. The other thing is too, you still have to take lag into consideration. Even though the internet's gotten better, depending on a person's connection, especially if they're on Wi-Fi, lag could definitely be a big problem. But really, it's just the social aspect of it, and just seeing the salt and just feeling the energy. Like you can tell somebody's panicking, and just being able to read their body language and everything. It's a whole different experience. So my ultimate goal is hopefully I'll have a place where people can come and play a lot of the games. Because it's been at least almost 30 to 35 years now that a lot of the games have been out, at least the fighting games. So I want to, create a space where people could come and play, the original Street Fighters and Mortal Kombats, Tekkens, Virtual Fighters, Dead or Alive, Soul Caliburs, and then also have the new games so people can kind of see that history and see how each game has evolved to what they are today. Because they've changed a lot graphically, gameplay-wise. A lot of them have similar foundation, but most of them have kind of changed over the last 30 years. But the main thing is just bringing people together. So hosting tournaments. Hopefully, if it gets big enough, I'll be able to open places in other areas, not only here in Colorado but other states, and maybe even have some venues in lower income areas where kids may not get the same exposure to esports, because now esports is becoming such a big thing. It'd be nice to give other kids opportunities to see if it's something they could get into. You got kids winning millions of dollars on tournaments now, so obviously, it's another avenue people could take. I know people always push people into playing sports like basketball and football and stuff like that. And I think esports is just another avenue people could take if it's something they have interest in. And I love building the machines, and I love hosting, so hopefully, it's something that could grow into something bigger. But the biggest thing is just, the camaraderie, helping people be social again, and just bringing that arcade legacy back. That's the main goal. Well, my answer to that is, my main focus has been fighting games for the most part, because that's what most people play competitively. But I've done like Daytona USA setups and shooting game setups like House of the Dead and Time Crisis and things like that, which I do plan on actually branching out to, or building more of. But my main primary focus has been fighting games. Like right now, once I get to the point where I feel like there's a good mixture of old and new fighting games people can play, I'll start focusing more on doing like you know, the shooting games and racing games, like Daytona USA, Cruising USA, and Initial D, and games like Virtual Fighter, House of the Dead, um, Time Crisis, Terminator, Jurassic Park, like those kind of games. Even like maybe eventually doing like Dance Dance Revolution, some Guitar Hero setups, things like that. But mostly I build fighting games. You guys have seen my Daytona 4-player setup, so I eventually want to have it as an 8-player setup, so that's always, have different projects like that still planned out. Crazy Taxi, so there's a lot of good racing games, shooting games that I do plan on building their own standalone setups for, I guess you could say. So the name of the company is New Age Arcades. I picked that name because I feel like we're in the new generation of gaming. Um, and so everything's just all about adapting and adjusting to the times. So I just want to bring that old, nostalgic arcade feel back, but, at the same time still have the newer games that people play in and, that they're familiar with. And they don't even have to be fighting games. I have plans on hosting other tournaments for like first person shooters like Call of Duty, Battlefield, um, and games like maybe even Destiny and other games, sports games, Madden, NBA 2K. Those are really big games. So I eventually want to, start hosting big events for those too. But yeah, New Age Arcades is the name of the company and the venue. I feel like it's kind of fitting for the times since the games have evolved so much. We got New Age Arcades. Hmm, quite a bit actually. Let's see, some of my favorite games. Well, obviously, if I'm starting with fighting games, um, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, I would say is probably number one. MK2 over here is a close second. And then I would say MKX, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 4, um, Third Strike. I love some Third Strike. That game is dope. Um, let's see. Tekken 3, Tekken Tag. The first one. Um, I played the Virtual Fighter quite a bit. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I have to throw that in there. Um, and then as far as like racers, Daytona USA is definitely probably hands down probably my favorite racing game of all time. Crazy Taxi, Need for Speed, Midnight Club, Los Angeles. Shooting game wise, House of the Dead series, House of the Dead 1, 2, Virtual Cop was really fun, Time Crisis, um, and then as far as like, just first person shooters, Call of Duty, hands down, the Modern Warfare's, even the, Black Ops and World at War, those games. Um, Counter Strike, Half Life, Doom's up there. As far as PC gaming, I would say SimCity 4 and Roller Coaster Tycoon is probably some of my favorite PC games of all time. Um, there's a lot, but yeah, I would say those are probably my top favorite games. just to name some off. Those are my favorite games. Some of my favorite games of all time. All right, as far as events and venues and everything go, I have a Mile High Showdown tournament coming up here on Saturday, June 12th, between 4 and 11. Um, $10 cover fee for all day game pass. Play whatever you want. People entering tournaments, be $10 entry fee for each tournament. For the prize pool, obviously, winner takes all for now. If we get enough entrants, get enough people in the tournaments, we might be first and second place winners. But yeah, I mean, entering the tournaments is optional. Like I said, the whole goal is to get people together to play, have fun, try different games, maybe play games they might not have had a chance to try before. And then going from there, I'm gonna have a Mortal Kombat, night where I have all the original and new school MK machines, so MK1, MK2, UMK3, MK9, MKX, Mortal Kombat 11. I may even have MK4 set up, if we get enough people to play. But yeah, I'm gonna have that coming up soon. Injustice 2, I'll have those set up as well. So that's coming soon. I'll post links and dates for that. Right now, I've been kind of doing the tournaments bi-weekly, so I'm just having them on Saturdays for now. But if we start getting enough people, maybe start doing Friday nights. As far as other venues go, I know the TO Steak Fox or Chris Curtis, he does a lot of great events during the week, Tuesdays. I know he's doing a big monthly on Saturday, June 5th, and Sunday, June 6th. So he usually runs Tekken 7, Smash, Mortal Kombat, and other games. His venue, his setup is dope. He runs a lot of great tournaments. And that's just here in the Springs, Colorado Springs. As far as in Denver, that Akihabara, which is in Westminster, up in Denver, it's a dope arcade. They have a lot of the Japanese style setups, and they run a lot of great tournaments up there as well. And I'm gonna post the links and events on the page and below. Arcade One Up Bar in Denver. It's a cool place to go to if you're in the Denver area. There's other places I probably haven't even mentioned, but yeah, Colorado has a few. Colorado's on the come up. Like I said, it's really just about bringing the people together. I believe in supporting the locals, and hopefully we could get the FGC scene big here, and even other games, Smash Brothers, Call of Duty, whatever. But yeah, I will definitely post links on some of my future events. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. But yeah, it's exciting. I appreciate all the support and people who watched over the years, subscribed to my channels and things like that. So hopefully I can continue to create new and exciting content for people and build more machines and just kind of keep the whole scene fresh. So I'm just trying to do my part to help keep the arcade legacy alive. But yeah, if you guys have questions, you can message me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, however way people are watching this. I'll definitely post a lot more info. Appreciate you watching and supporting the channel, and peace. Game on.